The Middle East is once again at the center of global attention. In late February 2026, tensions that had been building for years finally exploded into open conflict. The United States and Israel launched coordinated military strikes on Iranian targets. Iran responded with missiles, drones, and threats to one of the most important shipping routes on Earth. Now the world is watching closely as the conflict between the United States, Israel, and Iran continues to unfold. And the biggest question many analysts are asking right now is simple. How did this war begin? If you enjoy breaking down global conflicts and understanding the military strategies shaping world events, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. This channel covers real global military developments so you can stay informed about what's happening around the world. The tensions between the United States, Israel, and Iran did not appear overnight. For decades, Iran and Israel have been strategic rivals in the Middle East. Israel has long accused Iran of developing military capabilities that threaten its national security. Meanwhile, Iran has supported armed groups across the region that oppose Israel. The United States has also had a difficult relationship with Iran since the late 1970s. Economic sanctions, diplomatic conflicts, and military confrontations have defined the relationship for decades. But by early 2026, tensions had reached a new level. Military analysts warned that a direct confrontation between these powers was becoming increasingly possible. The war began when the United States and Israel launched a coordinated series of airstrikes on Iranian targets. According to multiple news reports, the strikes targeted military infrastructure believed to be connected to Iran's missile programs and strategic military operations. Fighter aircraft, long-range weapons, and advanced surveillance systems were used during the operation. The strikes were designed to damage key Iranian military facilities and reduce Iran's ability to launch attacks across the region. For Iran, the strikes represented a direct act of war, and the response came quickly. Within days of the initial strikes, Iran launched a wave of retaliation. Missiles and drones were fired toward targets connected to the United States and Israel. Some of these attacks targeted Israeli territory. Others were directed toward military installations used by American forces in the Middle East. Air defense systems were activated across the region as militaries prepared for additional attacks. The rapid escalation made it clear that the conflict was no longer a limited strike. It had become a regional war. One of the most important weapons in this conflict has been the use of drones. Iran has invested heavily in unmanned aerial systems over the past decade. These drones are capable of flying long distances and striking targets with explosive payloads. Military analysts say drones allow Iran to conduct attacks while reducing the risk to its own pilots. Because many of these systems are relatively inexpensive, they can also be deployed in large numbers. This strategy can overwhelm air defense systems and create new challenges for militaries trying to defend against them. The United States maintains a large military presence across the Middle East. American forces operate from bases in several countries throughout the region. These bases support aircraft operations, intelligence missions, and regional security efforts. Because of this presence, any conflict involving Iran has the potential to involve American forces almost immediately. Following the initial strikes, U.S. forces increased security and prepared for possible retaliation. Defense systems were activated and additional surveillance operations were launched. One of the most dangerous flashpoints in the conflict is the Strait of Hormuz. This narrow waterway connects the Persian Gulf to global shipping routes. Roughly 1/5 of the world's oil supply passes through this corridor. If the strait were blocked or attacked, the consequences could impact global energy markets almost immediately. Iran has previously threatened to disrupt shipping in this area during times of tension. As the conflict escalated, military forces began monitoring the region closely. As the war expanded, the effects were felt far beyond the Middle East. Energy markets reacted quickly to the risk of supply disruptions. Oil prices rose as traders and governments monitored the developing conflict. Global leaders called for restraint and urged both sides to avoid further escalation. But military activity continued across the region. And analysts warned that even small miscalculations could push the conflict into a much larger war. At this stage, the future of the conflict remains uncertain. Military forces from multiple countries remain on high alert. Diplomatic efforts continue as world leaders attempt to prevent further escalation, but tensions between the United States, Israel, and Iran remain extremely high. The coming weeks will likely determine whether this conflict stabilizes or grows into something much larger, and the outcome could reshape the balance of power in the Middle East for years to come. If you found this breakdown helpful and want more detailed explanations of global conflicts and military developments, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And let us know in the comments what topic we should cover next, because as events continue to unfold, we'll be here explaining what it means and why it matters.